The movie begins showing unforeseen circumstances caused by a dying sun and acidic soil, with Earth being completely uninhabitable by 2092. Amid this planetary crisis, the UTS Corporation, a scientific division, had been tasked with providing a new home for humans by building an orbiting dome terrarium surrounded by a space highway. Unfortunately, only the privileged are allowed to live inside the artificial home. To ensure global communication, humans are equipped with neural translators that help translate any language to understand each other. On a typical day at the UTS Lost and Found warehouse in South Korea, a space sweeper, Taeho, smuggles a small bundle of rice to access the storage area to find his missing daughter. Realizing she is not on Earth, he returns to his work in space, feeling defeated. Elsewhere, a group of delegates is invited inside a huge towering structure to see UTS founder Mr. James Sullivan as he discusses the advancements in the Tree of Life that allow his new Eden to grow plants with super soil. He explains that as Mars approaches their orbit, a new colony of humans will inhabit the planet. One of the members, a journalist, speaks his mind and demands solutions to alleviate the 95% of humans trapped on Earth, with many forced to collect space debris while risking their lives. Simultaneously, the Korean ship 7901, operated by Captain Jang and her crew, intercepts a payload from other competing space sweepers. Furious, the fleet of cruisers chases the crew, only to lose them after they escape the perimeter of the UTS solar battery. As Taeho sighs in relief, he accidentally crashes the ship on a UTS residential antenna. Later, he reports to the waste management facility for a paycheck, only to get billed for the damaged antenna and receive a bundle of unpaid taxes. Though down on his luck, he remains determined to earn more cash while searching for his daughter. As his friend, Pierre, watches TV, a news bulletin warns the public about a stolen child android, Dorothy, a weapon of mass destruction, in the terrorist group Black Fox's possession. Later, while rummaging through trash, Taeho laments about the debt accrued by Captain Jang after constantly modifying the ship and repairing the damages. Afterward, the crew plays a card game while Captain Jang and engineer Tiger Park argue about the stolen rice. The scene becomes chaotic as the humans lose their money to their robot companion, Bubs, and get knocked out. Not long after, they continue inspecting a derelict space vessel when Taeho opens the hatch to discover Dorothy hiding inside. After they discuss what to do with her, they soon see the report about Dorothy being a robot yet to detonate and proceed to separate themselves from the child, believing they are in danger. As Taeho sneaks her belongings inside the cockpit, he discovers a UTS employee named Kang Hyunwoo has been calling her satellite phone. The crew later docks at the MR09 residential district and leaves Dorothy alone on the ship while they privately convene. They agree to sell her to the Black Foxes, splitting the ransom money accordingly after the proposed transaction. Taeho calls Hyunwoo, who wants to meet immediately and offers $2 million in cash for the girl. Later, Tiger Park keeps a watchful eye on Dorothy as she enthuses about her drawings. As they prepare to leave for the transaction, a Danish UTS police officer enters to inspect their ship after receiving a distress call made by Tiger Park hours earlier. He enters one of the rooms while Dorothy hides, prompting Taeho to bribe the officer with cash so he can leave. When this tactic fails, Captain Jang threatens to report the officer for accepting bribe money, which was recorded by Bubs. Everyone, including Dorothy, rejoices as he hurriedly flees. A short while afterward, the crew arrives at Club Ghost around 2 p.m. for the transaction, as Tiger Park feels attached to the child. Taeho meets with the masked Hyunwoo, unaware that UTS Space Guards are standing by to intercept. Unfortunately, Dorothy wanders off, forcing them to look for her around the jam-packed dance floor. When she gets identified by the patrons, the cyborg soldiers, led by Camilla, open fire, creating chaos. As Taeho and Tiger Park rescue her, Dorothy shields them from bullets with a strange barrier, shocking Captain Jang and Bubs, who witness it happen on the monitor. After returning to the ship, Captain Park destroys the smartphone, believing it allowed UTS to track their location. An appreciative Dorothy reintroduces herself as Kat Nim, her real name. They warm up to her, save for Taeho, who laments over losing the money. Elsewhere, during a meeting about Mars, a slowly decaying Mr. Sullivan orders the board to improve the video propaganda by adding a voiceover about the Earth being unredeemable. Meanwhile, Bubs and Park are welding at the factory maintenance hangar. At the same time, a disguised Kat Nim attempts to bond with an uninterested Taeho. The pair then harvests tomatoes from the plant the little girl revived some time ago, much to the surprise of Pierre and the workers, who buy them. Later, Bubs applies makeup to Kat Nim's face while discussing the crew's origins. He reveals that Taeho was once a child soldier who recovered a female infant from one of his missions and raised her even though she grew deaf. His empathy towards the girl swore him off killing, which led to his untimely discharge from UTS security. Sometime after becoming a drifter, Taeho lost Suni in a space debris collision in the non-citizen district and received limited help for her recovery due to his reputation. Amid their conversation, Hyunwoo calls Taeho to restart their transaction in another meeting spot, much to Park's apprehension, having become attached to Nim. A while later, the crew finds out the girl has been kidnapped, with Park chasing after the masked assailant. Taeho rescues her as more masked individuals in orange jumpsuits surround them. After they get beaten by Park, the crew curiously discovers that the accountant, Karam, is one of the assailants. Meanwhile, Mr. Sullivan privately discusses with the journalist, who is pleading to suspend his plans to help Earth recover. As he discusses his past, he seemingly reveals hunting down black foxes, as the UTS guards bring his colleague tattooed with their insignia. He then forces the journalist to shoot him before he kills him, believing it is like humans to end lives. Elsewhere, Captain Jang tells Karam that she deduced that Nim is the human daughter of Hyunwoo and that he and his team are members of the Black Foxes. Karam clarifies that their group used to be an environmental organization until Mr. Sullivan intervened, wanting to use her in a terraforming project when he discovered that the nanobots injected into her body evolved and allowed her to communicate with other nanobots and restore life on Earth. Before he could kill her to hide the evidence of her gifts, Hyunwoo smuggled Nim away to protect her. The group explains that the Space Guards will attempt to take her to the factory's anti-gravity engine and detonate the embedded hydrogen bomb, which will cause the station to crash into Earth, destroying it. Suddenly, the area becomes swarmed with UTS guards, prompting everyone to split up as Taeho tries to escort Nim to safety, escaping through the vent above the bathroom ceiling. The pair soon get discovered, prompting Captain Jang to start the ship and create a distraction while Pierre and the workers riot. Taeho runs toward the hangar and leaps onto the ship as Camilla follows closely behind and latches on him. Nim falls but is saved by Park. Taeho then flies the ship away from the factory but gets shot down, causing him to steer off course to the Lagrangian space debris field. As they descend, nanobots swarm and consume the ship, prompting Nim to use her abilities to keep them at bay, saving the entire crew before she faints. Fortunately, she recovers quickly, sharing a hearty laugh with a relieved crew. Elsewhere, Mr. Sullivan profiles each crew member, discovering their dark past while recognizing Taeho, whom he had fired from the Space Guards. Meanwhile, the crew becomes distressed watching the news about their escape. However, Taeho is more concerned about fulfilling the transaction. He spends time with Nim, who is hopeful he will reunite with Suni. After he and Park goof around with Nim, the crew receives a transmission from Karam saying Hyunwoo is with him. They return to Mr. 13 and witness the Doctor tearfully reunite with Nim. Taeho holds back emotions while he asks Karam about the money. Suddenly, the station is hit by EMP charges as UTS guards swoop in to find Nim. They kill most inhabitants, including Hyunwoo, while presenting the beaten Victory crew to Mr. Sullivan, who intercepts a hidden microchemical bomb in Captain Jang's teeth before she ignites it. He offers Taeho to clear all charges and double the money, delighting in discovering his true nature as greedy and selfish. Meanwhile, as Mr. Sullivan sends Nim to the factory for Earth's destruction, he addresses the citizens of the UTS residential district to present his Mars terraform project. Simultaneously, Taeho remains determined to find Suni with the money and offers to split it with the crew, only to be denied as they feel more concerned with Nim's safety. He leaves the ship and immediately pays the fee for a search crew to locate Suni. While waiting, he reads through her old notebook and breaks down, remembering he refused to look at her note while gambling on the day of the collision. It reads, "I want to be a good person like you." Vowing to live up to Suni's expectations, he returns to the ship, throws out the remaining cash, and joins the crew in rescuing Nim. Captain Jang suits up and fires at incoming missiles from the rear while Taeho maneuvers the ship. Amid their high-speed chase in space, Bubs launches himself and attacks the enemy ships with the harpoon. As more cruisers appear, Taeho dives the ship into the Earth's atmosphere and makes a U-turn back to space, leaving the enemy ships crashing down. The crew then returns to the factory and flies toward the anti-gravity sphere, much to Mr. Sullivan's consternation. Once there, Captain Jang and Park remove Nim's restraints and rescue her. The captain informs Taeho that when the bomb ignites, it will unleash krypton waves that will kill nanobots and Nim within a 5,000-kilometer radius. Realizing that it is impossible to stop Earth from destroying Earth, the crew agrees to transport the little girl away from the blast radius as quickly as possible. Suddenly, Camilla appears and overpowers them, except for Park, who locks himself in the hallway with her. Though beaten and bruised, he opens the airlock and sends them flying out of the sphere, allowing him to kill Camilla and chop off her hand for Bubs. Not long after the crew prepares to escape, UTS attack drones rush to Mr. 13, prompting Captain Jang to radio the emergency channel and encourage all the workers to band together and help. Without hesitation, all the space sweepers, including Pierre, heroically hold off the drones while the Victory escapes. Simultaneously, Mr. Sullivan's audio recording about the ruse is exposed to the UTS residents during a news broadcast that warns them about the Earth's imminent destruction. Meanwhile, all seems well at the Victory until Mr. Sullivan rides a gigantic robot vessel to kill the crew. As their ship fails in its functions, they prepare to meet their doom while revealing to Sullivan that Cotton M was secretly given to Pierre to assure her safety. A bewildered Sullivan is killed in the factory explosion, though miraculously, Cotton M and the nanobots shield the Victory, rescuing everyone on board and Earth. The crew returns as heroes, with Bubs getting female body parts. At the same time, UTS Corporation apologizes for the incident, promising to repair the relationship with Earth. Sometime later, Cotton M is used as a medium for Tejo to tearfully relive his last moment with her while revealing her last known location, giving him closure. The movie ends with the crew becoming one big happy family, with Cotton M continuing their duties as space sweepers. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this to help the channel out. Have a nice day.